This week's episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Pendleton Ammunition, loading ammo, one round at a time.
Last week, Travis Price drove all the way up to northern Saskatchewan and hunted with a new outfitter and took a great bear. In fact, they filmed over 50 bears in 5 days and took an incredible boar and helped us find a new outfitter for Steve's Outdoor Adventures. This week is the conclusion to that incredible road trip. After taking his big bear, Travis had to drive 9 hours back to the west to Fort McMurray, Alberta, where he caught a bush flight deep into the wilderness in northern Alberta to a remote tented site in an area that an outfitter was opening up a new bear hunting camp. Now, this area was of particular interest to us because it had not been hunted in many, many years. And genetically, the bears in this region of Alberta are big. They reach monstrous proportions, and when an area hasn't been hunted for a long time, you're gonna have a lot of big, old bears that don't understand what hunting pressure is. And we thought this was the ultimate opportunity to capitalize on a new area, a new opportunity, and some incredible trophy hunting. Now, typically, we won't book clients to go into a camp with us that we have not hunted before. But in this case, our clients Mark and McKenna Henderson and Josh Delso had been looking for a spring bear hunt, and we had nothing available for them anywhere else. I explained to Mark and Josh that this was a camp we had never been to before and that we had no experience with it, but we had good potential, and that was good enough for them. So Travis is flying into the backcountry with 3 clients that he's never met before and high hopes that they're all gonna find big bears over bait in northern Alberta.
Travis,
Wes, nice to meet you.
Yes, sir. Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. How was the trip?
It was good.
Lots and lots of stuff here, lots of information.
Okay.
It's just should be really good for everyone.
Awesome. I'll look into that stuff for sure. Wes did a great job and a full debrief with us, and not only safety, but the program that he's running here and what it's all about, and what the stands are like, what the bear activity is, what to expect, and he did a really thorough job on that. Very impressed. Now what we're gonna do, as we flew in, actually we drove and then flew in, it's always important to check your equipment, make sure that everything's the way that you left it, and so that there's no issues in the field when it comes go time. So we're gonna zero the rifle, and hopefully it's still spot on, and then have something to eat.
On this hunt, Travis is using his Bergara B14 series rifle chambered in .300 Winchester Magnum. The gun is loaded with Pendleton Ammunition's Bear Hammer ammo. It's perfectly designed to hunt all of North America's biggest bears, both brown and black. And while the gun is topped with the Burris Eliminator 3 laser scope, which is overkill for a short-range shooting situation, the illuminated aiming point is perfect for hunting in low-light conditions when bears come out just before dark.
Jumped in the side-by-sides and headed north of camp quite a ways. And the terrain was just, hit me very hard on how beautiful it was and how unique it is. It's subarctic terrain with a lot of sand, kind of meets tundra, and there's some timber for sure, but it's really unique country that I've never seen. On the way up there, so it was a beautiful, beautiful ride. Once we arrived, north of camp and got into our first bait site, we were pretty tight to the bait, and that was really awesome. And when you're up that close and personal with the bears, you really are able to judge their size and their sex and really understand their behavior because you're so close.
Based on trail camera photos that guides had been collecting over the previous couple of weeks, there was a bear that Travis was going to target that they had nicknamed Raccoon Eyes. This bear was very unique in his appearance, and sure enough, Travis's first night in the stand, who makes an appearance? But old Raccoon Eyes himself. Travis decided to pass up old Raccoon Eyes because, hey, he's a big bear, but he's not the biggest bear in the woods. And this is an area that hasn't been hunted for years, and there are giant bears out here. And there's something to be said for not filling your tag on the first night of a hunt so that you can sit in the stands and wait for that bigger trophy, world-class boar that just might materialize.
Well, we saw a couple bears tonight. One specific bear that it was a boar, but just a little bit too young and not quite filled out enough. So tomorrow's a new day, and hopefully we see some shooters tomorrow and put it all together. So we'll see what happens.
This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures has been sponsored by Bergara Rifles, a passion for precision, every barrel, every rifle. This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures has been sponsored by Burris Optics. Find what matters.
There's something special about hunting from a wall tent camp. To me, it's always felt like the old elk camps of the past that brings out the best in the camaraderie between hunters and guides, sharing a campfire, the glow of the tents at night. And in the spring, when the weather is generally pretty good, I think it's the perfect environment for a spring black bear hunt.
Well, we're loading up the side-by-sides with our gear and getting ready to head out for the sit today. We're heading back to the same spot we were yesterday. That bear we ended up seeing at last light was one of the bears, the good bears on camera. So hopefully he either comes back again and we get an opportunity, or there's actually another bigger boar in there, so hopefully he walks in too. So exciting, we have two potential opportunities, potential shooters on the same site. So looking forward to tonight's sit, and we'll see how it goes.
The next day we went back to that same most northern bait site and was hoping to get another opportunity at that same boar we saw a previous day.
Opposite of last week's hunt, where Travis was in double bull ground blinds, hunting them from short distances on the same plane, this week Travis is hunting from tree stands, big ladder stands that are 12 to 16 feet off the ground. And this changes the game completely, because you don't have to worry about black bears coming up just feet away from your ground blind and looking at you through the window. It gives you a chance to be up high and see the entire surrounding area. This is a big advantage to the hunter.
Hopefully we see one of the two boars that we've seen on camera here come in tonight. Maybe even the one from last night. So we'll see what happens. Looking forward to this sit. Should be a good night. I have a good feeling about tonight.
When Travis got in from hunting that night and heard that Mark Henderson had shot a bear but not yet recovered it, he knew immediately what he had to do. Because at Steve's Outdoor Adventures, when our clients shoot an animal that isn't recovered, we stop what we're doing and help. So the next morning, Travis joined Mark and his guide and everybody else in going in there, following the blood trail and recovering that black bear. Because that's our client, that's our job, and that is more important than anything else we could possibly be doing.
Nice job.
I felt just, man, so lucky and just to be able to take an animal of that age class that's that unique of a size for a sow that is that big and that old, that mature. You just don't get those opportunities, you know, and so to be able to harvest this special animal, it was really something.
Because we didn't see the boar that we're hoping for on day 2 in that same stand, we decided to move sites, come a little bit further south onto a new site, and so we did. However, the weather wasn't conducive to bear movement much, as it was raining pretty hard the entire day. And so although we toughed it out and sat, unfortunately we didn't see any bears. So it was a long sit, but beautiful country along the river, and really enjoyed the sit, although we didn't quite see what we were looking for.
When the guys got back to camp that night and found out that McKenna had shot a bear, everybody in camp wanted to go out and help her recover it the next morning, because anytime you can help a young lady fulfill her hunting dream and fill a black bear tag, That's just something you have to participate in. So Travis and all the guys head out the next morning to go find that bear.
So it was pretty relieving actually to know that I did recover a huge bear like that. Definitely was not expecting a bear of that size for my first one, and it's definitely going to be a little hard to get one of that magnitude again. But being able to know that I shared that experience with my dad, it was really, really special.
McKenna, I just want to send out a special congratulations because you shot a great bear. There's not a lot of young ladies out there with the guts to go sit at a bait site by yourself and let these animals come in close proximity to you, and you showed no fear and stuck it out. I hope we see you in the stand again one of these days real soon.
This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures has been sponsored by Marathon Seat Covers. We've got you covered. This segment is sponsored by Adventure Armory. Rifle, scope, and ammunition packages shipped, ready to shoot.
So we're loading up the side-by-sides and getting ready to head out for this evening's sit. Unfortunately, yesterday the weather wasn't very conducive of seeing many bears, and so it's still spitting a little bit of rain today, but it's significantly less than it was yesterday. So hopefully they're gonna be hungry and start moving and hitting the baits, and hopefully we get a look at that big boar that's with that sow. So we're back at it today and just staying positive and putting in our time.
A lot of people ask us about what type of rifle scope they should use when they go on these hunts. And the reality is that at short range, you can use a 1 to 4 or 1 to 5 or a 2 to 7, maybe even a 3 to 9 power scope. But a lit aiming point is very important because sometimes these bears don't move until just right before dark. And in low light situations, your black crosshairs on a black bear can be hard to see, and shot placement on a black bear is critical. That's why I like the Eliminator. Turn it all the way down to the lowest magnification setting, range the bear. It doesn't matter what the range is when it's only 30 or 40 yards, but that lit aiming point lets you aim right at the front shoulder or at the vitals, and bullet placement is perfect when you can see where your crosshairs are against a dark animal in low light shooting situations.
We decided to go just a little bit further south along the river at a different site. Sure enough, about an hour into the sit, a small, really small sow came out of the woods and walked down the road a little bit and hit the bait. And sure enough, right behind her was this no doubter, just an absolute monster of a bear, just a great specimen, great representation of the species. And they hung out for a while at the bait and gave me an opportunity once I decided to take this bear.
Field judging a black bear is incredibly difficult. It's really easy to make a mistake on a bear. That's why hunting over bait is so important, because you have a barrel or a tree or something to measure them up against. But you've got to look at their belly, look at their nose, look at their ears. If they've got itty bitty ears on the side of their head, it's a pretty good indication that it's a big old bucket head bear. And that is something that is playing out in Travis's mind every time he looks at a bear. Is it a big one? Is it a small one? He does not want to make a mistake on film. And that adds to the pressure night after night. And finally, when this bear stepped out, it all came together.
And once he was broadside, I decided to pull the trigger. Made a pretty good shot, and he ended up, 15, 16 yards to the left of the bait site and expired. And so, that for me, that's a chance of a lifetime at an absolute monster of a bear. That's a bear of a lifetime, and I was so excited to put my hands on him the next day. and get some photos with the team once we were successful. It was just an amazing experience. I ended up shooting that bear fairly early in the evening, but for safety reasons, it's just the right thing to do to wait until the guide arrives before we go in and check to make sure he's officially down. And when the guide arrived, it was already pretty much at dark. So the right thing to do is kind of back out and that final approach and find the bear the next morning once we have some daylight. It's just the right thing to do. It's the safest thing to do.
This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures has been sponsored by Pendleton Ammunition. Loading bullets, one round at a time.
If you'd like to book this week's adventure for yourself, give our office a call. We will gladly take your calls, answer your questions, and help you book the hunting or fishing adventure of a lifetime. When everybody got back to camp that night, it turns out that not only did Travis shoot a bear that needed to be recovered the next morning, but Josh Delso shot a big bear that needed to be found the next day as well. So the next morning, they had a search party. And first up was Josh's bear. Everybody pitched in and went to that location, got on the blood trail, and helped Josh find his big Alberta black bear.
That was pretty amazing. Walking up on that bear and seeing the caliber of that bear and shooting what we knew was up here was pretty amazing.
We all jumped in the side-by-sides and headed north to recover Josh's bear. And he had ended up being on the top of a ridge. And once we got there, my first reaction was, oh my, this is a giant. I couldn't believe the size of this bear. He was huge. And super excited to have Josh get his hands on his trophy. That's a trophy of a lifetime, just a giant bear. And it made me even more excited to want to get to this site where I shot my bear, to be able to get my hands on mine. And you know, it's just a very special moment for Josh, and be able to share that with a client is you know, why I'm here. So it was a very special moment to have him recover his giant bear.
With Josh's bear found, they could now turn their attention to Travis's bear. And Travis knows that he put a good shot on this bear, and everyone is confident that they're gonna find him.
Yeah, just really left.
He is a trophy of a lifetime, and I may never have an opportunity to harvest such a beautiful specimen of a black bear for the rest of my life. And it was a very special moment to reflect on not only that species and the size of him, but also the entire experience of the hunt and how remote it is and how special this is. And you know, can't wait to be able to share this experience and connect others to this hunt, because it's a good one.
You know, the way that you guys run it and your attention to detail, right? Unprecedented. Thank you so much. You know, to be able to share this experience with 3 of our clients, and Josh and Mark and McKenna, and to be able to take such a huge boar. You know, I can't thank you guys enough, and also Steve West for the opportunity to come up here and learn this outfit in this area in northern Alberta, and can't wait to get back and share this experience with others and be able to connect them to this adventure, because it's a dandy. What a monster bear.
As we board that plane and head out of this remote country, I know that I'll take a moment to reflect on the hunt. And you know, some of the things that are going to come to my mind is what a special place and what a special area. And there's a lot of history to not only this camp and this area of northern Alberta, but you know, how much I enjoyed being with our clients and the outfitter and the guides and everybody involved in this operation. I will miss them, as I enjoyed this hunt tremendously, and just reflect on the opportunity to be able to harvest such a nice representation. It may be one of the nicest bears that I'll ever take in a lifetime, and I can't wait to get back and be able to share this experience with our clients and our potential clients when I have the chance to speak to them about it and be able to connect them to this adventure. As that was the whole purpose of me coming up here, is to not only learn what goes on here, but to bring it back and be able to share it with others and be able to book them on this adventure of a lifetime.
Travis and Josh ended that hunt by taking 2 incredible black bears. These are giant black bears that anyone would be happy to take. And with all 4 hunters filling their tags and taking home the trophies that they came after, this week was a complete success. More importantly so for me, Steve's Outdoor Adventures got to add yet another incredible spring black bear outfitter, and it's another offering for us to give our clients each year to go to a world-class spring black bear hunting operation. This camp, this wall tent camp deep in the wilderness, might not have been a big 5-star lodge, but it was an immaculate, fully furnished wall tent camp that was comfortable and perfect for this particular hunting adventure. This package allowed us to combine the trophy black bear hunting of coastal British Columbia with the fly-in adventure of Alaska and the quality of operations and affordability of Alberta. The perfect trifecta of everything for us to offer our clients spring after spring. And this road trip that Travis had just completed through Canada, first to Saskatchewan and then Alberta, netted us 2 incredible outfitters. In fact, if you'd like to book one of these incredible spring black bear hunts for yourself or any other big game hunting adventure, give our office a call. We will take your calls, answer your questions, and help you book the hunting or fishing adventure of a lifetime. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week's show. But please, remember to join us again next week for another exciting episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures.